Get out of here.
Let's go!
Get out of here.
Okay, well, for the first interview, obviously this is a little bit of a convenient person for me to get here. Josh, you were the first interview because we're related.
Thanks.
That's why you get to be the first one. So,
Appreciate that.
Josh Pernetti, welcome. Want to introduce yourself to everybody?
As you just said, I'm Josh Pernetti. I'm 21 years old. I'm from Ceres, California. That's about it.
Okay, nice. Where is Ceres?
It's in the Central Valley. Like I said, it's in California. Not a lot of people know where that is, but
I do.
the 209.
The 209. Oh, God.
Yeah.
21 years old. Where did you go to school?
I went to Ceres High School.
Okay.
Just finished my last year at Delta College, junior college.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we're going to jump right into it. The idea today is to give everybody a little bit of kind of background into you and give everyone a little bit of a, inside info into college baseball, the recruiting process, hitting approach, whatever you want to talk about throughout the interview. Is that cool?
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Well, take us from the beginning. Youth baseball. Walk us through how you got into baseball and then how we got to where you are now.
So growing up, I was around baseball forever. Sure, Dad loves baseball.
He does.
Kind of instilled that in us from a young age. We grew up watching you play, so I was around the game forever. Played youth baseball.
No wonder you're good.
Yeah. Played youth baseball in series, travel ball, the usual kind of stuff. Was just around a lot of college games and a lot of baseball growing up, and that's really when I found out that I loved it. And I still love it, so.
Well, good. I will take credit for you being left-handed and hitting home runs. What I used to tell you when you were younger?
Swing up.
Swing up. Great
Yeah.
advice. You recommend that to people now?
I do. I do not recommend swinging down. You look at the MLB, most of the ground balls are outs, so why would we
But
want to do that?
you get the backspin when you swing down.
No.
Oh.
Swinging down is an idea. No one actually swings down.
Fair enough. All right, so youth baseball, CYB, you want to talk about that at all? Kind of your progression throughout the Rockers, because that was some of my fondest memories were playing on Rockers teams.
Yeah.
My Rockers teams were a little better than your Rockers teams.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. I wasn't around a ton of good baseball growing up. CYB is kind of just kids who are out there having fun to play.
It's kind of rec ball when you learn to love it a little bit.
Something to learn around and stuff like that. There wasn't a ton of good coaches, so it's not like kids were out there getting necessarily better all the time. That's just where you went to play and have fun.
Yeah.
So I stuck around that for a little bit, and then once I started advancing at the game, it was hard to stay around it because the game was too slow for me. So kind of started playing travel ball and stuff like that. You'll run into a couple good coaches in those leagues, but not good enough ones to really benefit anything from if you have aspirations of playing high school baseball and college baseball and stuff like that. So, yeah, I stuck around that for a while. Ended up playing for, our dad's team, the Rockers. And we played a lot of tournaments doing that. It's where I learned a lot. Dad knows the game well. I was fortunate enough to grow up with the batting cage in our backyard. So we got advantages the other kids didn't have. We could hit whenever we wanted and stuff like that. Always working on our game.
Something that I didn't really appreciate till I was older.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
We had a batting cage in our backyard and a little mini field. We could take infield in, ground balls.
Yep.
I think it was just a little way for Dad to be able to yell at us for different things.
Yeah. Yell at you for different things, but at the end of the day, it was very beneficial.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't love it at the time because, it was either hitting or doing something baseball 24/7, but now I'm very appreciative for it.
Yeah, and he expects a lot, but it's good life lessons. Now you expect a lot of you too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I wanted to jump into the homeschool piece a little bit because, I was homeschooled when I started school all the way to high school. You were kind of bouncing in and out of it a little bit. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I was homeschooled for a while growing up. Went into public school when Mom started working again and stuff like that. Or she went back to school, actually. So I went into public school, and then when 7th grade came around, Dad asked me if I wanted to be homeschooled again. And that was when you were in college, so I said yes.
Absolutely.
I wanted to be around every college game I could at the time. So, that was really cool for me. I got to go to all your games, and really that's where I learned a lot about baseball. I was just around a high level of baseball from a young age, so it was beneficial for me to see how fast the game was moving, learn approaches and stuff like that. Just watching you guys take in and out, all kinds of different things.
And then baseball aside, what's homeschool like? Because not everyone knows that. I mean, we do.
I mean, homeschool, it's an advantage in a lot of ways. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not stuck in a classroom for 8 hours a day like most kids are. I get to knock my homework out in 2 hours, and then I can do whatever I want for the rest of the day. So whether it's train or do baseball stuff or hang out with my friends, play basketball, anything I wanted once I was done with my stuff. So.
And it's not like you're doing less work. I mean, the teacher doesn't have to teach 30 kids. It's just
It's
one
just
teacher, one
one-on-one.
kid.
So I was pretty advanced when I got into high school and stuff. Yeah. So I mean, it was beneficial for me.
And then dad is the principal, so if you did anything wrong, you better.
Yeah. If I did anything wrong, I'd have to go take 100 swings or something like that. So.
Oh man! All right, so how was it youth wise? Your training and nutrition, because I have a little bit of insight into that, but
I'll be pretty honest. Youth wise, I was very fat. I remember if I hit a bomb, I got to pick where we got to eat
100%
at a young age.
Marie Callender's.
Yeah, we used to play at this tiny field called Belpassi, and I used to just mash baseballs there. So Sunday would roll around before the tournament. I'm hitting the Marie Callender's buffet,
100%.
going into town. And yeah, I didn't take it serious at the time. I mean, I didn't know what it took to be a good baseball player at that time, so I was just out there having
Plus
fun.
you're a kid. You're like 12.
Yeah, but I wouldn't recommend a lot of kids to be that fat. So.
Oh, well, that's also the first time you went viral, kind of, for one of your pimp jobs.
Yeah, I do remember that. It was.
So, tell that story. That's a good story.
We're playing our rival team. A lot of our kids left our travel team to go play for this team, and it's in the championship game of the weekend. And I'm pitching for some reason. It's a tie game.
You throw cheese?
No, I sucked at pitching, but I had a good game against these guys, and that's 2-2 going into the sixth inning. I walked in the dugout, looked at Jimbo, and I was like, I'm about to hit a bomb right here. Get your phone out. And so sure enough, hung me a slider, and I crushed it, and I pimped the
bomb.
I pimped it. I had to. Tossed the bat, started my little walk. That's when I realized how fun pimping baseballs were.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of started being myself on the field, was that moment.
And you were doing it before it was cool. Now you see little kids doing that stuff once in a while, but you did it before it was like a thing.
Yeah,
to do that.
there was a lot of animosity around pimp jobs and stuff like that at the time. So.
And I remember Dad not being super happy until he saw the video and was like,
"Yeah,
all right."
I mean, it wasn't a cheapy home run either. It was a big home run. It put us ahead. We ended up winning the tournament. So
yeah, no, I mean,
against our rival team with all of our ex teammates. So I mean, to me, it was worth it.
And then everybody started posting it, and you got famous as a little kid for a little bit.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
All right, well, let's take us into kind of when you started high school. So homeschool, CYB, a little bit of travel ball here and there. Then you get into high school. What was that like?
So when I got into high school, I didn't really know a ton to expect. I knew what you went through and stuff like that. So, I mean, I played football for my first 2 years of high school, basketball 4 years. I love basketball.
Powerhouse, Series High School for football.
Yeah, powerhouse of nothing. we were not good at any sports, and I'll leave it at that. But, I mean, I was just out there having fun. It's high school. I would recommend kids play as many sports as they can in high school, just to be athletic and stuff like that. I mean, you learn a lot anyways. Keeps you in check. But, yeah, I got to high school, and that was when I started taking the gym and diet and stuff a lot more serious. I got into good shape, really good shape going into my junior year, senior year. I was, pretty good shape at the time, so.
That's when you started getting strong, too, because I remember coming home from junior college games, and we'd go lift together, in shape or something like that, and I'm like, damn, Josh is actually strong. I better start lifting a little bit more. He's going to catch me.
Yeah. I think I'm definitely stronger now, but I am. It's okay to say it. But no, I was definitely coming into myself at that time. I got into good shape and was really taking the weight room serious. So it was beneficial for me.
So baseball, basketball, 1 year of football.
2 years.
2 years of football.
Yeah.
More than me, I guess. What was, talk us through your varsity baseball, how that went.
As a freshman, I mean, I thought I should have been on varsity. We're not at a powerhouse high school or anything, so.
No, it's not like they're rolling out, 9 guys that are legit, and your bat played. You could have played there from 7th grade on the varsity team, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think I'm the only guy from my class to play college baseball at any level, so.
You are. I can verify that.
Yeah.
Maybe one other one.
Yeah,
I don't know
one
if he
other
played,
one.
but he did. He went to school.
Yeah. But no, as a freshman, I was stuck on JV, got brought up for the playoffs. I mean, I was stuck down there. I hated it because, the game was
JV,
it was too slow.
Yeah.
too slow for me. And then I got called up for the playoffs. I think I got 2 at-bats and I got 2 hits. So.
You did. Yep, I remember that. And everyone was like, "Oh wow!" Wait,
Everyone's all excited, and I was like, I could have done this the whole time, but whatever.
Yeah, and I remember my series high days. I'd, break my arm in the basketball playoffs, and I missed my freshman year. Same kind of situation. I'm supposed to be on varsity, and they come up, because I missed the first year of baseball. My sophomore year, they end up saying, "Well, we don't know if you're going to be on varsity." And then I end up getting in there, first bat, hit a home run, have a really good game, and they're like, "Oh, I guess we'll bring him up." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And keep in mind, these teams we're not rolling out, all dudes out there. Like they need the good baseball players where they get them. So talk us through, kind of, I guess, your junior, senior season. How do those things go?
So my junior year, that's when I started taking it very serious. Didn't have the kind of year I wanted, but I was still learning a lot about my swing and like the game and stuff like that.
Still a good year though.
Yeah, I had a decent year. I think I hit like 300 with a couple home runs, a lot of RBIs and stuff like that. But yeah, that was when I was catching still.
Yep.
And
now we'll break that down a little bit. Why start catching? I know we pressured you into it, but what was the idea behind that?
So for me, I was always a good hitter, power hitting lefty. I could spray the ball around the yard, and figured if I started catching, it would be easier to move on because everyone wants a power hitting lefty catcher. So it did pay off for me. I ended up at a good school. I got a lot of traction from it. So
did you jump right into catching? Were you fine back there?
Yeah, I mean, it took me a while to get to like understand the game, but I always knew the game at a higher level, just being around Dad and you and more advanced games, just watching. So I understood how to control the game and stuff like that, call pitches, different things.
Yeah. And then talk to us about PNT a little bit because that was actually, it was kind of when you were catching.
Yeah.
How'd you end up getting PNT? Kind of explain what PNT was and how that ended up being the thing.
So PNT is Prospects National Team. It's in Texas.
Shout out Trev.
Yeah. We played against them in a SoCal tournament.
Yep.
And I swear to God, every guy on this team was committed to a Power 5 school. It was ridiculous. They rolled out their second baseman who was not a pitcher, and he was sitting like 91, 93 the whole game. And I'm 16 at the time, so I'm like, okay. And I had a pretty good game. I barreled. I don't think I had any quiet outs or bad at bats. I had 4 barrels that game. So their head coach mid-game walks over to our dugout, gets my number and stuff, calls me like a week later. He's like, "Hey, you want to play for us this summer and the rest like next summer?" And I was like, "Yeah." I had to take advantage of the opportunity.
Absolutely.
So ended up playing for them for 2 years. Really good 2 years. I kind of made a name for myself doing that. We won a lot of big tournaments.
Yeah.
Got to play for a lot of good coaches and stuff like that. So
that was your first time kind of getting exposed to PG and all those, big time tournaments where there's scouts at all the games for the good teams and that sort of stuff.
And I mean, we were on a good team, but the teams we were playing, the caliber of baseball was way higher.
Yeah.
So it was really fun for me because I want to play against the best guys all the time. So I took those games serious. And I had a really good 2 years. I think one of the years I was runner-up for PG Player of the Year.
Yep.
Had a lot of home runs. My average was really high.
Yeah. Went off, actually, that summer. That summer was crazy. Mm-hmm. That was when we got introduced to the Canes, too. When we figured out what that big old bus that said Canes on it was.
Remember,
they roll out a little lefty guy that's sitting, like, what is he throwing, 93 from the left side?
Yeah, 93 from the left side.
Going
like
to Notre Dame
commit.
Yeah.
And we ended up beating him that game, too.
Yeah.
I remember it was pretty sick. I think I got fisted a single my first at bat against the dude.
Line drive.
Sure.
Hit.
Texas leaguer over the shortstop or something like that. But we ended up winning that game. It was kind of a good experience for me because I got to see the high level of baseball at our age, which I was never around.
Yeah, that's something I never really got. Now that I think about it, I was never around, especially my high school years, like those legit, Power 5 arms or guys that were sitting in the mid-90s. That didn't happen until I was in college and summer ball and things like that.
I mean, I loved it too because I was always a good fastball hitter, and at that age, not a lot of guys throw a good breaking ball. So I felt more advanced in the box because not a lot of those guys could sneak a fastball by me at the time.
Yeah.
So it benefited me.
Yeah, and those PNT days, that was around the time where you ended up hitting a bomb and I almost got arrested in Arizona.
Yeah, that was funny.
We'll tell that story too. That's a good story.
We're playing this team in the playoffs. Something. Actually, I think it was a consolation game. We didn't do well in that tournament.
No, that actually wasn't PNT. That was Tri-County or something like that.
Yeah, it was some random team. Yeah. We were in Arizona though, and those parks are big,
huge.
I think I was 15 or 16 at the time, 16 maybe. and I crushed one. Like but it would have tied
Nope.
the game up in the last inning.
No doubter.
Like no doubter, I crushed it. The other team was astonished to how this ball got called foul because it went out in right center.
That was a nuke.
And I remember it hit the shed in right center too, made a loud bang, and the umpire called it foul, and I went berserk. I was like, "What?"
And
I just tied the game up against this really good arm that
Yeah.
they're throwing because they didn't make the playoffs of this tournament. They just had him saved, so they needed to throw him.
And the shed, the noise was significant because the shed wasn't, in between fair and foul territory. It was like,
Not even close.
It was right field, but it was on this side of the foul pole. So,
Yeah, so when it hit it, I mean, I was halfway around second before I realized he called it foul.
yeah.
And my head coach at the time was not a fan of that guy,
You
but
don't have to mention him. It's okay.
we won't talk about him. But he didn't say anything. He was just fine with it, and I freaked out. I was like, well, if you're not going to – I mean, me personally, I love a coach that's going to stand up for me and his players.
Well, I might have freaked out before you freaked out.
But I went berserk. I lost it. And the other team was completely understandable, too, because they're like, holy crap, like, how was that a foul ball?
Yeah.
The third base coach on the other team was like, I don't even know what just happened.
That guy was an ex-pro guy that I remember he came up to you after the tournament and was like...
Yeah, came up to me after the game and was like, that ball was crushed. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was against a good arm too, so I was happy with it, and then that happened. It was pretty funny. I think you got thrown out. I somehow didn't get thrown out. Dad got thrown out.
Yep.
There was like 3 ejections in the span of like 30 seconds, which was hilarious.
Yep. And then I got threatened to get arrested because they said I bumped the umpire.
Yeah, the umpire bumped you
Yeah.
because you were yelling at him, and it's whatever, soft umpire, but
Talking to him firm.
yeah.
But, all right, so PNT, you're running for PG Player of the Year for the tournaments. Roll into high school, dominate, go to UCLA. What happened?
No. So after that summer of having a really good summer, I was excited going into my senior year because I had a lot of traction on me. A lot of schools knew who I was at this point. Mm-hmm. Pro scouts started reaching out to me and stuff like that. And then I got this random call one day during like basketball season. It was like, hey, I'm the head coach for the men's USA fast pitch team. We're going to be playing in the World Classic in a couple months. Do you want to come play for us? Like, we have a tryout in Florida. We'll fly you out, try you out, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I went to this tryout, and I cleared this with my AD and our head baseball coach at the time, and he was fine with it. Go to this tryout, make the team, did really well there. And I mean, keep in mind, this isn't like slow pitch softball. It's like, you're facing the best in the world. It's the same as the women's game.
Yep.
Except the
But they
pitchers can jump,
and they're our size.
and they're men.
Yeah.
So a little bigger, a little stronger, faster.
And the fields are bigger.
Yeah,
The fences are
dimensions are
farther.
bigger, except the
Yeah.
bases are the same length.
Yeah.
The mound is the same length.
Yep.
But yeah, the game was very fast. So going into my senior year, I was gonna miss the first week of practice when like the pitchers and catchers report.
Hold on. What was the fastest softball pitch you saw?
Probably like 85, 86
From
against
how
New
far away?
Zealand. From, what is it, 40 feet?
I don't know. It feels like it's a foot
close.
away
It's like
from you.
right on top of you. And they're jumping halfway to home too because you
Yeah.
don't have to drag your foot like in women's softball. So it's this 6'5" dude jumping halfway to home plate, throwing 85, 86 underhand.
Unbelievable.
Which was it was crazy. I had to be quicker than I'd ever been.
I remember when I was playing, we had similar situation. They said the guy that's like equivalent to like 126
Yeah.
off the mound.
Nothing I'd ever seen.
Oh no, or anybody.
And I mean, I've never played the game of softball before.
No.
I mean, the kids on our team are from other parts of the country, so they play that in their parts of the country,
Which is a thing in the United States.
which I didn't know.
They have fast pitch softball for men. You
Yeah.
got to find it.
But yeah, I ended up going out there. We went to New Zealand, which
Yep.
was the World Classic, and we're playing against Japan, Mexico, Argentina, all these really cool countries.
How was New Zealand? Was that fun?
New Zealand was cool. I mean, I enjoyed it. Never been really outside of the country like that. And I got to represent Team USA. I don't care what sport I'm playing. I would have done it either way.
Yep.
I mean, you could have asked me to play soccer. I could have been terrible at it. I still would have done it just to wear USA across my chest.
100%.
But yeah, I go out there, cleared everything with my coach and our AD before I went. Came back, but we almost didn't make it back. This was when COVID started happening.
Yeah.
So we almost got stuck there, but we got back.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, that would have been terrible. We got back into America, and then I go back to school, and for some reason, our coach was like, yeah, you're going to be benched. And I was like confused. I didn't know.
And you
didn't know
cleared it
why,
with him
'cause I
before,
cleared
right?
it before I left with him. I thought I was going to roll back in because I took my baseball bat with me to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Was taking baseball swings in the cages and stuff like that. And everyone knew I had a season to go back to, so they were fine with it. But yeah, I was benched for the first 7 games of the year. They brought up a freshman catcher to catch over me, which was crazy to me because, I mean, he couldn't catch the ball. He's a freshman.
Yeah.
Like, it was tough for him. And, I mean,
Not his
I
fault.
wish the best for him, but it's not
Yeah.
his fault. It's our coach's fault for doing that to him. He put him in a terrible spot.
Yep.
And, so I was benched the first 7 games of the season. And I remember the first 2 games, I had a couple scouts roll out to those games, pro scouts and other schools. And I got a couple of texts after the game, like, oh, why weren't you playing today? So I had a really awkward conversation with them, like, oh, like I got benched because I went to do this. And they were not very happy about that. I didn't really understand it.
Because it looks bad for you to say that. Because it seems like, I mean, if I'm the scout, that sounds like an excuse.
Yeah.
Because obviously, why would coach do that? Especially you had told the scouts probably beforehand, hey, I'm going to.
The scouts knew I was going to do this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I benefited from it. I shortened my swing. I learned how to be a lot better 2-strike hitter just because of doing that.
I agree.
So I came back and I was ready to roll right away. And then finding out I was benched for the first 7 games was tough for me because it's not like we're on a great team. Like, we need every good player we can to win these games. We're not going to win by a lot.
And you need to win all the games you can, too.
And I'm trying to get out of Series High School. Like, I have dreams of playing at a better level than just high school.
Yeah.
Which a lot of kids didn't.
Now, it would be different if you just up and left and it was some like family vacation or something like that. And then,
Yeah.
But to clear it with coach and AD beforehand and say, hey, this is what's going on. I'm going to play for the country. We're playing in the World Classic, blah, blah, blah. And then they say it's okay. And you come back and it's like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah, I was just kind of blindsided by everything when I got back, which was very frustrating for me.
How was Dad? Was he okay with
He
that?
was not very happy with this at all.
How about your brother?
No one was happy with anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just dumb in my opinion to do that.
Well,
because you're messing with the kid's future at that point, which I would never do to a kid.
And that's what I was going to ask you too. I'm not big, feel sorry for yourself, but like take us through your mind. Like what's going through your head?
Like, I'm trying to explain to these scouts why I'm not playing and stuff. They don't necessarily understand the situation. So it was like, that was my chance to prove myself to these scouts in front of these schools and stuff like that. And I didn't get to do it because I was lied to. So it was frustrating for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had a chip on my shoulder rolling into that season too because of the summer that I had.
Yeah.
I wanted to win.
Yeah.
And not being able to help your team win is frustrating because I'm a winner. I'll do anything for the team to win. So.
And then you're probably second guessing yourself, like, was this the best life decision for me to go play softball for the country and this and that? And
Yeah, I mean, I was just all in my head for a while, and it showed too. I was frustrated. I mean, I kind of let my emotions show. I was a kid at the time. Coach came up to me and kind of got on me for it, but I was like, well, I don't like the situation. I'm almost 18 years old now. I'm going to tell you what I think.
Yeah, especially to have that happen to you is. Yeah.
It would have been different if you told me I was going to be benched. I probably wouldn't have gone.
Right. Yeah.
Because I prioritized baseball over everything, but being lied to was what really threw me off.
Yeah. Okay, well, you eventually get to play again.
Yeah.
What happens?
So we're 0-7 for my first 7 non-starts. I didn't even play in these games.
Was it
Not even
0-7?
Yeah, not even a pinch hit. I didn't touch the field. So, I mean, I'm rooting for my guys, too, because I'm a big team guy. Sure. Like,
You still want to win.
It's not their fault. They're not doing anything to me. I mean, they didn't understand either. Like, they were going up to the coach and like, listen, we know he's one of our better guys. Why is he not on the field? Like, we need him on the field.
And you don't have to just speak that humbly. Like, you're the best bat in the lineup. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to make it about myself, but guys are asking me why I'm not playing, and they don't understand either. Like, because they want to win too, and they know I can help. So
Yeah.
it's frustrating for them. But I remember after one game, it's probably our 5th game, I freaked out because we lost by like 1 run to a team that had no business being on the field.
Yeah.
And I kind of just lost it because coach was like ripping us after the game or whatever. And I was like, well, you're ripping us for something you could change. Like, I can potentially help us win this game.
Yeah.
I think we lost on a pass ball too. That's why I was more frustrated. But yeah, no, the assistant came over to me and I kind of just freaked out. Like, we got into it pretty hard and I told him exactly what I thought. And I was like, if I come to practice, you be thankful. I wanted to be up and done, and my dad wouldn't let me quit, which I'm thankful for. But
Sure.
I mean, I'm not a quitter, but at the time it was like I had nothing else to do.
Yeah, well, it definitely crosses your mind. You're like, well, if I'm not going to even play, like,
Yeah, if I'm not even
what's
have
the
a
point
chance
of
to
me
prove
being out
myself or
here?
work back into the lineup, then what's the point?
And now, also, just for a little context here, Series High is a revolving door of like
Good old boys.
people to stay. Yeah, good old boys is a good word for it. But people to stay there and work for their dad and blah blah blah. But the assistant coach was son of AD. And,
Yeah.
you know.
I think the
so
freshman coach was our AD's son. The assistant coach on varsity was our AD's son. I mean, you got to know somebody to be in there.
That stuff hasn't changed from when I went to school there.
Yeah, it's a lot of just
Yeah.
it's not a good way to run things in my opinion. But no, so I finally get my first start, which I had earned. I was going hard at practice. I mean, I didn't take things lightly. I still worked hard because I wanted to get better just for myself. And I get back first at bat against we're facing a good team too.
That's for Christian.
Probably a team that should have beat us, but I think I had an RBI single my first at bat, put us ahead 1-0, and I was pumped. My first at bat of the year, first hit of my senior year, so I was happy about it. And then let the emotions flow a little bit. I was pumped about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And then they kind of take the lead. We're going into like the fifth inning, I think. And I'm 1-for-1 at the time with the walk and the RBI single. I get up for my third at bat, and I'm 0-2 right away. There's a runner on first.
Yeah.
And we're facing a good arm, so I'm not taking this very lightly. I crushed the ball to the left center. Like, it wasn't like a flip over the fence. Like, I crushed it. It went on the football field.
It was a bomb.
And I didn't do anything crazy. Did my normal, like probably less than normal. In my
Way
opinion.
less than normal.
It was before I became like myself.
Yeah.
Kind of just set the bat down, took a couple steps, and our head coach, who was coaching third base, was screaming at me. It wasn't like it wasn't like I've been told by Skip and stuff like get on it. It was like it was directed directly at me.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have been at anyone. If anyone else did the same thing, nothing would have been said. It was at me personally to spray it like he was getting on me. And so I was like, whatever.
I think that's because you never hit a home run.
Yeah, probably never hit a home run that far in his life, or one in general. But I hit that ball, and it put us ahead.
Yeah.
We're up 3-2.
Big
so,
time.
I mean, you watch baseball nowadays,
Yo.
guys are down by 10. They're pimping everything.
Yeah.
But God forbid I have a little fun putting us ahead in the game.
Yeah.
We haven't won a game all year.
No.
So I'm jogging around first, and get to third. He goes for a high five after just screaming at me, and I kind of just looked at him and ran by. Didn't touch him.
Didn't high five him?
Didn't. No. I mean, he didn't care about my well-being at all. He didn't want me to succeed.
He was probably annoyed that you hit a home run.
Yeah, he was probably mad that I did anything good.
Because it exposed him for not
Yeah, it
playing
made him look bad because now all the parents are like, oh, where has this been for the first 7
Right.
games? And, get to home, go in the dugout, everyone's high-fiving me, all excited. And I'm pumped with the boys. We took the lead.
Yeah.
Going late in the game. And he comes in the dugout after the next guy gets out. And he just starts getting on me. Like, he was going in on me. And I was like, do you not want me to be excited for putting us ahead? Like, I didn't do anything crazy. Like, I know that's not your style of baseball, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I just put us ahead in the game.
Well, you think if you're the coach, your guy just hits a home run, the last thing in your mind is being mad.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially to take the lead. You got to be happy.
if he
And
would
then maybe
have
after the
came up
game-
to me, if he would have came up to me and be like, hey, like tone it down a little bit, like,
Sure.
I would be like,
Okay.
yes, sir. Like, you know,
Okay, got
like
it.
so I think you respect me, I'll respect you. Like, I'm like, you're a coach, so I already have respect for you. But once you lose my respect, you don't just get to scream at me like that and treat me differently than everyone else.
When coach, your job is to win. You just helped the coach win.
Yeah.
And then you think that he'd be a little happy, and then maybe pull you to the side after and be like, hey, maybe tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, and I would have been completely fine with that. I've never been disrespectful to a coach, so
No.
and I've never had any coaches tell me I'm disrespectful besides this instance.
Yeah.
So we kind of got into it, and he was just telling me like how it's all about me and stuff like that. And I was like, it's not all about me, but if you're that mad, I hit a home run, take me out of the game, whatever. Sure enough, took me out, and I was just laughing. But I mean, I'm a good teammate, so I'm on my boys, rooting for them to do good. And we ended up winning the game. It was late in the game, so we had a chance to do it. Secured the win against Modesto Christian, which was a good team at the time. And he had some words for me after the game, and I had some words back with him.
Nice words for him.
And probably not the best words, but I mean, I've never been afraid to tell it like it is. And that doesn't change depending on the person. So it might change how I say it, but if you're going to speak to me a certain way, I'll give you the exact same energy back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if you thought he didn't want to win that bad, he wouldn't have started me the next game, but apparently he did at this point. So I got the next start again. We were facing a good arm out of Tracy, I think. Playing at River Island. I think I had a single RBI again to start the game, and then a double, another RBI. I think we lost the game, but that ended up being our last game of the year because COVID happened. So I got to play 2 games my senior year. Had a bomb and double, couple singles, couple RBIs.
Great batting average.
Yeah, I think I had more home runs than everyone on our team, and I played 2 games.
Yeah.
So damn near tied everyone with doubles too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I could have told you that. All right, so I played 2 games senior year because of COVID.
Yeah.
Then what happens? Where are you going, and kind of how did that happen?
So after everything that happened, being benched and only playing 2 games my senior year, all the traction that was on me kind of shut down.
Yeah.
Didn't really have a lot of schools on me anymore. Had some stuff fall through. The draft got cut down to 20 rounds.
I think it was maybe even less than that the first.
Yeah, it might have been less than that.
first
I don't know
COVID
what
year.
it was, but I ended up going to a couple. I went to area codes twice. Went to one at Vanderbilt, which was cool. I was at a PG tournament.
This was right before COVID,
Right before COVID.
Yep.
I was at a PG tournament in Atlanta.
Yep.
And the Nationals guy saw me, and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" I was like, "Oh, I got a game, like
Yep.
4 or something." And I mean, it wasn't a game. Like we were a good team. If I was missing, like we were still gonna win. So, coach gave me the green light to go to that. Drove down to Vanderbilt the next day from Atlanta. Had a good area codes. I mean, it was fun. I got to hit at Vandy.
How was that
got to
experience?
meet Corbett and stuff. So
You told Corbett to sign you right away or what?
nah, definitely not. Just got to pick with him. Thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was dope.
And through that same little process, you got a pre-draft workout with the Nationals, and then you ended up going to another area coach trial with the A's.
Yeah. That one was sweet. It was at Banter Island. So if you don't know what Banter Island is, it's where the Ports play, the A's low A affiliate, I think.
Stockton.
In Stockton,
Yep.
which is where I ended up playing JUCO baseball at.
How was it hitting there for area codes?
It is very fun.
Yeah.
The ball, it's a hitter's park for sure. I mean, it's not a small ballpark, but the wind kind of breeze out to
Just
right
like-
center.
But there's
center.
almost like no breeze. It
Yeah, there's
just
almost
is like
no breeze.
thin air.
It's just really thin air. The delta's right in right field.
Yeah.
So you can, if you crush a ball, you can get it in the water, which is sick.
Home of Dylan Kelly
Yeah. Shout out to Dylan. He's hit more home runs at that park than I've ever seen.
in like 2 games.
Yeah. But no, it was really cool. Got to do that for the A's
Yeah.
and for the Nationals. So took that all in. Enjoyed every part of it.
So then you make the area code team, and then
No,
everything's
definitely
good?
not. Didn't make the area code team. But I mean, that's fine and whatnot.
But also for context too, there's a bunch of scouts at those tryouts because
ton of scouts.
even if you don't make it, there's still if you because you have to get recommended by a pro scout to get to area codes.
Yeah.
Right?
So I mean, kind of knowing that a pro scout wants you brings the attention of you from schools.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of the stuff that got shut down when COVID had happened and when I got benched and stuff like that. So, which is frustrating, but it is what it is. I still ended up at Delta, which was cool for me.
And then how did you end up at Delta?
So I got recruited kind of after COVID happened by Brian Watley. He's the catching coordinator for the Padres now. Mm-hmm. And I was very thankful for that. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better 3 years in junior college. My freshman year of junior college got banged because of COVID again. So I didn't play senior year or freshman year of college. It wasn't like a redshirt year or anything. But
2-year
it was
hiatus from baseball.
Yeah, so
That's gotta
I
be really
basically got
easy to
2
get
years
back
of no
into.
playing games of baseball, which was very hard.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. Like I was going through it.
But freshman year, you guys end up scrimmaging each other the whole year, right?
Yeah, so the freshman year, it's not like we just took the year off. We tried to do stuff whenever we could in small groups. We inter-squatted a ton, probably like twice a week. And we took those games serious too, because we would put like a TT on the line, which shout out to Skip. I didn't know what this was until I got to Delta. I think
Probably wish you never knew what
yeah,
it was.
wish I never knew what one was. But I remember he was explaining it to us. He's like, "Oh, loser of this game, just to make sure we played hard, because those inter squads get boring after a while. You're playing the same guys
you
all
gotta
the
play
time,
for something.
and there's nothing really to play for. So we would start making them competitive. We put a TT on the line. So if you don't know what a TT is, it's a bear crawl from home plate to right field corner. You're gonna backpedal around the track, and then you're gonna duck walk to home plate.
That sounds like an injury to me.
Yeah, I mean, especially you're out there in the heat. I mean, it's a turf field. I remember my first time doing a TT. No one told me to put batting gloves on. It's like 105 out there.
Blisters.
And I'm crawling down this turf. Look at my hands, like halfway to right field. There's a
Bleeding.
hole in both of my hands.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening right now? Finished it out, though. But yeah, after that, always wear batting gloves during a TT.
Always.
Because it's brutal. Or we used to throw in some stars on those games, too. I think you had like 3 minutes or something to
Fun.
So you're gonna sprint down the right field corner, right center, center, left, and then home plate. And you got to touch home plate in between all of them. So I mean, you're moving through
That
those.
sounds so fun.
Yeah, especially after a 9-inning
I know you
squad,
love running too.
getting carved by some of the best arms in the state.
That's what I was going to say too. Not really your normal inter squad. You're not facing your,
Yeah, you're not facing Joe Schmo from Ceres, California. You're facing dudes like Zach Volker, who's at Iowa now, with a 93-mile-an-hour cutter that is very hard to hit.
This is right when you're right out of high school.
Yeah,
so.
I'm fresh out of high school. I went to Ceres High School. I'm seeing barely 80, if I'm lucky. And yeah, so rolling into those games, it was very humbling for me. I got to learn a lot about myself. And that was where I kind of decided, I was like, well, I can either give up or work to be something good.
Did you get exposed a little bit?
Yeah, I got exposed right away.
That's good. That's what you got to do.
It was good. A lot of kids need that because you see dudes that mash at the high school level, and they get to the college level. A lot of them turn into red shirts and stuff like that because the game just speeds up on you. Not the same at all. It's a different game completely. But yeah, we're facing dudes every day. I think the toughest at bat. I mean, you get asked these in the questionnaires, which we'll talk about later. Sometimes some of them will be like, "Oh, what's your toughest at bat you've ever faced?" And his name is Ben. He's with the Padres now. He's like a 6'6" lefty side armor who threw like 93. And I swear to God, it was the hardest at bat of my life.
Yeah.
Lefty. He's throwing from behind my head. It's like a Bumgarner, but throws harder.
Yeah.
With a wipeout slider, and he could put his changeup wherever he wanted. So, yeah, I don't think, to this day, I've never got a hit off him.
Yeah.
I think I cued one
to
the second baseman. I was pretty happy.
Really keep that shoulder in.
Yeah, try to stay in there.
Flip
and then I'm
one
also
over to the third baseman.
His two-seamer might run 17 feet and hit me in the forehead. So, yeah. It's always been my toughest at bat. Probably will be until I get to another level. So,
yeah. So, arms are totally different. What else is different about the college game right off the bat?
Just the days are longer. You got to get used to longer days. I mean,
why?
So for us, it was like we had 8 a.m. study hall, which was mandatory.
Now, I'm jealous because our study hall was 5:45. Actually, I take that back. Our weights were 5:45. Study hall was right after.
We like to prioritize sleep. So,
I mean, me too. I just wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, we would get up, go to study hall or whatever, roll out to the field, get our work in, scrimmage. You have weights usually right after, so you got to take meals with you and stuff. Make sure you're eating throughout the day, hydrating. But it's good. I mean, it's kind of like you're getting a glimpse of what D1 baseball is going to be like. It's run like a D1 style program. You're taking everything super serious. You got time to get in the trainers. You're going to lift, and you're going to lift. You're not just going to get in there and hit some curls. You're gonna move some weight.
Yeah.
And the stereotype of delta is that we're all juice heads and on steroids and stuff, but no one can make it through our workouts if you're not grinding. And I mean, it pays off too. When we roll in the field, one of the most intimidating things is stepping off the bus and being substantially bigger than everyone else.
Mm-hmm. You just wear tighter shirts.
No. We get the bigger shirts and we get big enough to fill them out.
Sure. That helps. Well, you guys also had a little bit of an advantage now that I think about it because school wasn't in person that year, right?
Yeah, it was our school turned everything online, which is weird for me because
So you never got to go to like college.
Yeah,
even now,
I still haven't really been to a college class, which is cool.
Not routinely, at least.
Yeah, it's got its advantages, but it's got some setbacks too. Like I'm one of the guys that likes to get personable, so I like to make friends with the teacher and stuff like that. If I need any help on anything, just ask them because they know who I am. Sit in the front, stuff like that. But when it was online, that was when I was like, this is weird. Mm-hmm. You got to balance. You got to really be organized to make it through that. Because you got to balance getting your homework done, your long days of baseball,
super easy
sleep,
to get distracted
eating.
too.
Yeah, very easy to get distracted. Yeah. Because I mean, you're at home doing your homework by
with
yourself.
Your roommates and your buddies. And,
you're with your friends, and like it's if you're not locked in, it'll be tough.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to figure out how to do that, like balance everything. So, but yeah, I mean, just going back to our inter squads, the game will really speed up on you if you don't take it very serious going into that freshman year of college.
Yeah.
So one of the things I would recommend would be getting off a machine, turn it up as high as you can, and not being afraid to swing and miss. Mm-hmm. Get that out of the way right away.
Well, that's a big thing in today's game anyway. Is challenging yourself.
Definitely.
Higher velocity than what you're seeing, higher spin rate than what you're seeing. So that way during the games, it's not.
Yeah, you want it to be easier when you get on the field. Yeah. So if you're practicing at a higher level, then when you roll out there and see 90, it's not as hard as you
Probably
you're used to.
demoralizing at first, but once you kind of get it,
Yeah.
it's okay. Well, how about, I mean, one of the things for me when I got to college, I was like, I didn't realize how advanced this stuff got. I mean, you watch it in big league games and all the clipboards and all that stuff, but I mean, that's happening at a junior college too. All your red shirts got clipboards and different stats and metrics and all these different
Yeah.
things. What was that like?
So we focus really hard on the mental game at Delta. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're trying to get any advantage we can on everything.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't necessarily talk about like the clipboards and stuff. That's going to be at every college you go to, especially in today's game. You're going to find tendencies and stuff like that. Try to pick signs, do whatever you can to win the game. One of the things that I think gave us the advantage over other teams was during the fall of each year, we would take a baseball class, which was run by our head coach, which is actually really beneficial for all of us because we would get a book, and it's called Heads Up Baseball 2.0,
Yep.
written by a lot of ex major leaguers and stuff like that. A lot of quotes from them about how to approach the mental game and failure, and it really talks about failure, which I needed my freshman year because I was going through it.
Yeah.
I was failing a ton, so you learn how to process that. You learn about routines and how to always be confident. And that's one of the things I took serious because I thought that could give me an advantage over someone else. Like someone might be able to hit as good as me, but if they're on a roller coaster of emotions, then I have the advantage over them.
And probably good for you that you got to fail early.
Yeah.
You got to realize, okay, well, you know, stuff's not going to be as easy as I thought. Fail early, figure out how to, you know, combat that, and then move on.
Yeah, and I mean, I've never been afraid of failure. I like to challenge myself a lot, so it was a really good experience for me just going through it. And then after my freshman year, kind of realized where I stacked up against everyone because, you know, you get your PG rankings and stuff, and that's just a number. Mm-hmm. But when you get out there and play against these guys, that's when you find out what it's really about. Because, I mean, you're facing dudes you might have never heard of that are really good.
Oh, yeah.
Might be coming back off injury. Like Delta, we get a lot of guys that, you know, something happened at their D1 school or they're coming back or they got hurt, didn't end up going there, come to Delta rehab, and then all of a sudden they're good again. They're just at Delta. So, or guys that are just slept on, like, you know, not from a big place, whatever. And then all of a sudden you're rolling out 97 at a junior college.
Sick.
Yeah.
Can't wait to face that one on the other
team. Really fun
team.
to face in the inter squad.
Yeah, I bet. Every day.
Yeah, and it's not just like one guy on our team either. It's most of these guys are pumping cheese at us.
Yeah. We'll dive into that a little bit, give them a little insight into, you know, Delta's rotation and the guys you guys had.
So, I mean, the year we didn't even play a game, we just inter-squadded, we had a ton of commits, which was insane.
It's wild because no one's getting recruited during that time.
Yeah, no one was getting recruited, and I mean, it speaks for itself how good that team was by the places these guys went. We didn't even have a game.
Well, I remember you telling me at the inter squads there was a bunch of just pro scouts.
Yeah, it would be pro scouts there at every inter-squad, and I'd never been around anything like that. I'm like, this is sick.
Yeah. That's why people, when they're like, well, you know, why Josh go to Delta? And I'm like, that's why.
That's why,
because
right
if
there.
you can do something well, they're already there to watch the good guys.
Yeah.
You can become one of them like that.
And I mean, I could have gone somewhere else and been the dude right away, but that's not really what I wanted to be. I wanted to be the dude, but I wanted to be around the best players too. I wanted to compete against them and make myself better at the end of the day. And that's one of the things we did at Delta. Like, you know, you got guys coming off the bench that are going to be 4 hitters.
Oh, yeah.
At probably every other junior college in the state. So you got to work your butt off every day if you want to have a chance of playing.
It's good for you.
And it's not something you could take lightly either. Like, our practices are competitive. Everything we do is competitive, you know.
Yeah.
Trying to see, we track our barrel percentages and stuff like that. Seeing who gets the most barrels every day.
Did you ever win?
Sometimes. I mean, a lot of good hitters. It was pretty spread out.
Sure.
I hit the ball pretty hard though. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know that. Well, that's another thing too. Talk us through like the differences in your high school practices and then when you get to Delta. What's the difference between a practice? Because when I first got to Merced, even those practices, I'm like, damn, like these are long. They're all mapped out. Like, tell us what it was like at Delta.
At Series High, like the high school practices are probably similar everywhere you go. Maybe a little better at the better schools, but like, you know, you're just out there, kind of do what you're going to do for the day. You don't know what you're doing beforehand. So, but we took the mental game really serious. So we wanted to know everything we were doing before we were going to do it. So you have time to prepare your mind to do it. And so every Sunday, like midday, our coach was on the practice plan and it had out everything we were doing, at what time we were doing it.
Except for the week? Or
for the whole week.
That's cool.
So you get to look at it. You can map out your days, which was beneficial because you got to find times to eat, do your homework, all that stuff. So it's very helpful to have that. And then so we would get out to practice, and you knew what you're doing the whole time. It's like the coaches didn't have to say a ton.
Yep.
You're just out there going to each station, doing whatever you need to do, working on whatever. And yeah, it was just run really well. I mean, the coaches are in there coaching, but like, let's say for instance they weren't there, we would know exactly what we're doing the whole day. We could probably get it done if we needed to. So
How long's a practice in comparison to high school?
So junior college, there's no regulation on how much you can practice.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, but it's also cool at the same
Yeah.
time. It's an advantage. So you get a lot of time to get better if you
Yeah.
really want to do it. So I think like our practices would start. You had optional early work.
Yeah, optional. Also,
Optional early work where if you're not there, you're going to be in trouble. So
well, not technically, but like,
yeah, not technically in trouble, but like you're going to hear about it. So you better get there. But you get to early work, and that's kind of your time to do what you need to do to become better, like on your own. So for me, it was whatever I needed to work on that week or that day, whatever I felt like was not flowing as well. So whether I'm getting more swings, ground balls, reps, whatever, stand-ins and during bullpens and stuff like that. You can do whatever you want. And then right after that, practice starts. You do your stretches as a team and all that stuff. And then, you kind of just go through your practice. Mm-hmm. Probably do like 45 minutes, 30 minutes of team Ds at the start. Roll into your NDD. Go to your hitting. And I mean, we hit a ton, which was sick.
it's good.
Because, I mean, a lot of schools don't hit every day.
Yeah.
But, we want to be the best hitters in the state, which we were. So we hit every day. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, it wasn't always on the field. Most days, like, you're in the tunnels working on stuff. But it was usually like we had a machine in each tunnel, lefty slider, righty slider, and then a velo. Or we had smash balls in the spring this year, which are high spin rate balls that make you really stay on plane, which were good. Because a lot of guys get exposed when you get those,
It's
which
a
I
newer
did.
thing. Yeah.
And but once you learn how to hit them, you stay on plane a lot longer. You get a lot more barrels. But yeah, we'd go through those stations, and then you rotate to on the field, go to shag, all that stuff. And then kind of when you're done hitting, you probably got like 30 minutes, get in the locker room, change, get up to lift, eat something, get your lift in for like an hour. And you're grinding in the weight room. It's no joke. Like we were moving weight. We had a ton of dudes that were just
Huge.
massive.
Yeah.
And it's not because, like Delta's a bunch of needleheads and stuff like that. It's because we're in there moving weight every
No,
day.
because you guys are doing your stuff.
Like during the fall, it was 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
And then we had conditioning those days too. So you're out there doing your conditioning for an hour.
Yeah.
Then you get up to the weight room, and you got to give it everything you have if you want to get better.
Yeah.
So the thing that made us last longer was we were in the weight room when other guys weren't. Mm-hmm. We're healthier, we're in shape, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's a big advantage.
Body's ready for those games.
Yeah.
So how about like give me like a day at Delta, like when you wake up to when you finish.
So let's just start on like a Monday. Get back home Sunday night or whatever. You got 8 a.m. study hall on Monday. Go in there, get your homework done for an hour. At 9, it's over. You got an hour to go to the trainer, do whatever you need to do. Early work starts at about 10. Get out there, get your early work in. Practice from like 11 to, let's see, like 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. Probably like 3.
And you're done?
No. You got 15 minutes, 30 minutes, get in the locker room,
Yep.
eat. I know, and we usually bring food to the field too. You get like a little breaks in there to get some snacks in or
Protein
something.
shake or something.
Yeah, protein shake, protein bar, whatever it is. And then we got lift right after that. So you get home about like 5:36. You're gassed.
Dinner, homework, sleep.
Yeah, dinner, homework, sleep. If you're awake enough to do it. So
But it's
Yeah.
good for you. I mean, that's because that's how it is in college. I mean, it's even people say, oh, it's a full-time job. It's probably more than that. 'Cause
yeah, I mean the strain it puts on your body too. If you're not mentally prepared to do
100%.
that kind of work, you're not gonna last.
Yeah. So okay, first like playing year at Delta. So you had COVID year. You go into the first year. What's that like?
So my freshman season of baseball, which was my sophomore year academically,
Yeah.
I had a good fall. Kind of figured out what I wanted to be as a hitter, learned how to do it a little bit. We were really good.
Yeah.
Had a pretty good staff. Our hitters carried a lot more that year, though. It wasn't like this last year. Like we were pretty offensive. We wanted to lead the state in every offensive category, and I think we did. So, but my role that year was a little different than I was used to. We had dudes that can mash the ball around, so we needed someone to get on base, drive in some runs, not necessarily be a bomb hitter all the time, like strike out bombs, but just be like a good hitter all around. So that's what I tried to become. And it was hard coming off that summer, too, because
Sure.
I played my freshman year summer ball in Eatonton, North Carolina, which was sick. But I was facing good arms and stuff like that. But my strikeouts were high. My average was mid, maybe sniffed 300.
But a lot of bombs.
But I had a lot of home runs. A lot of RBIs, a lot of home runs, a lot of doubles.
Shout out to the Halsteads that let us live there.
Yeah,
I was
appreciate that.
Too.
Living with the Halsteads was dope.
Yeah. Driving the golf cart around the lake.
Yeah, hanging out with Davis. I got to see him all growing up.
So yeah, you saw him. So when I was with the Steamers, Davis was like this tall. Now Davis is huge and plays for
Yeah, he was a grown man when I got there.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. He's actually on the Steamers now, so that's pretty cool.
Is he again?
Yeah, it's like it's all come
You want to
full
go back
circle.
out there for the summer again?
Yeah, live with them. That'd be sick. But yeah, so I had to become a completely different hitter, which I'd never been. Like I'd always been a good hitter, but I kind of got into the mindset of like, oh, I need to hit bombs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
And Steamers wise, when you're hitting like that, summer ball, there's a ton of distractions. Did that play into it at all?
a little bit,
Or
like
just approach?
it was just like approach wise, like summer ball, like no one cares about your numbers really.
Yeah.
I was just out there trying to have fun.
And there's a ton of fans at all those games.
Yeah,
and you want to give them a little show.
The house is packed every night. I mean, it's a small town, and everyone in the town
that's
is there.
the thing to
every
do.
game. That's the thing to do. There's nothing to do in Eatonton besides go to the Steamers games in the summer. So everyone was there, and I was like, "Oh, this is sick! Like they're all rooting for me. I'm gonna try and do something cool for them." So I kind of got into that. I think one of the coolest moments in my career was, I had an off day, so I was in the bullpen catching, and it's a tie game going into the ninth with 2 outs.
Yep.
And they called me down to pinch hit. Coach, like, we need an at bat here. So I'm like, all right, I'm 18 years old. I'm like, I'm gonna hit a bomb. I'm gonna hit a bomb.
And it's 2 outs, right?
2 outs, yeah. I mean,
Bases-
a fisted single would have
Bases
won the
loaded.
game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a home game, so. But no, I remember the bat like it was this morning. I get in there, first changeup I see, bounced halfway to home. I swung through it. Sure enough,
Good approach.
second one did the same thing. And I kind of just stepped out of the box, said a quick little prayer, try to loosen myself up.
Yeah.
Get back in, took the next changeup, and then he tried to bust me in with a fastball, and I did not miss it.
Oh, no.
I crushed it. It went over the scoreboard, and everything just went black in my head. Like I stood there.
Stood there for 30 minutes until.
I stood there until it landed. Everyone's walking off the field, and I'm just freaking out. Like I hear our dugout's running out there, and I just look back at him and then start running.
Yep.
Like start jogging around the bases, and I was like, "Holy crap! Like this is the coolest thing I've ever done."
Yeah.
And the stadium was packed that night.
Yep.
So I mean, it's a little town. Everyone was like, "Oh my god! Like this is dope."
You were the man.
I was the man for like a week. It was pretty sick. Cool experience as a kid too. Like, a lot of guys that hit walk-off grand slams. So
I know. And that's one of my favorite videos of actually Dad was videotaping the TV in the living room.
Yeah.
And you hit the walk-off grand slam, and his reaction, I'll never forget that one. That was really cool.
yeah, it was so cool. Should have heard the 2 pitches before that. The reaction, it was hilarious.
We'll edit that out. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But no, that was sweet. Flip my helmet 100 feet in the air, rounding third base, get dogpiled at home. It was dope. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the hitter I was that summer. I was the bomb guy.
Guy, yep. And then you come into Delta, and all of a sudden,
Coming to Delta, and it was like, hey, we got a bunch of these guys. We need someone to be on base when they hit a bomb. And I'm all about the team. I want to win. So I was like, all right, I'll be that guy. So I just learned how to spray the ball around the yard. I was always good at it, but
you became like a really good hitter.
I think I became like, that was the best season I've ever had hitting wise. Like just being a pure hitter.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like a bomb
Because
guy.
it was like double the right center, double the left center,
yeah.
walk.
Had a lot
single
of
up the middle.
doubles, a lot of walks, a lot of singles. I mean, if we needed a big at bat, a walk or something like that, everyone's pretty confident that I was going to get it done. So I took pride in that. I mean, I wanted to be one of our most well-rounded hitters that we had. And so that's what I did. I ended up finishing the year 354 with I only had 2 home runs, but I had 11 doubles or something. I had a ton of hits. The RBIs weren't as high. Kind of hit 5th, so led off a decent amount. Yeah. On base percentage was high. Walked a lot. Didn't strike out a ton. But yeah, it was a really good year. I learned a lot about myself that year and what I could do. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of when I developed my 2-strike approach too. Learned how to hit with 2 strikes, but still be able to drive the ball.
Mm-hmm. And you became a good hitter with 2 strikes, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, well then you ended up, having a good year. You guys lost in probably the round before the Final Four, right?
Yeah, we lost in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, to Folsom.
Yeah, we're not going to talk
We're
about
going to
that.
mention them. Okay. And then you go into that summer. Then kind of what happens?
So going to that summer, actually that year, I tore my quad the first game of league. Mm-hmm. So I was battling to play
And
through
your
that.
ankle and all the kinds of different.
The first game of the year, I rolled
Tore
my
everything.
rolled my ankle on a double. Just
Bad.
stepped on second
But
base.
bad, though. It was
Probably
bad.
tore the ligament in my ankle, and my dumb ass told coach I was good the next day. I taped it up, and he just told me to take my jersey off. I was like, all right.
Yeah, you're done.
Too early in the season to be playing hurt, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably beneficial for me. I got a good 2 weeks off to get healthy.
Yeah.
But I missed some games.
But I remember you were hurt all year.
Yeah, I mean, that never really healed either.
No.
I battled through that ankle. I taped it every game for the rest of the year.
Quad bugged you all year.
Quad was bugging me all year, and then I remember it was late in the game against Sierra. We needed one of those at bats, and I got a pinch hit. Started off with a single in like the 8th.
Yep.
Had another pinch hit after me, and probably the fastest kid I've ever played with crushes a ball.
Sick.
And I'm like, okay, I'm on my horse
great.
here, and we're down by 1. So
Great.
I got to
gotta
score.
Yeah.
I scored, and I was moving. I was a little cold off the bench, but I remember rounding second. I just felt it
You're
rip
like,
in
ow.
half, and it was burning. Like I stumbled around third, just kind of fell into home plate. Got up. Third base coach was like, "What was that?" And I was like, "I think I just tore my quad."
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm good though." Got another hit. Next, same thing happened again. Dude hit another triple.
Great.
And I was,
Of course
I
he
was,
did.
I was hustling around the bases with the torn quad at that point.
Who was that hitting behind you?
Cody Borgine.
Of course it
the
is.
fastest kid I've ever played with.
Damn it,
the best
Cody.
center fielder I've ever played with too.
Damn it, Cody.
Yeah. Thanks, Cody. I mean, helped us win the game, but messed me up at the time.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I battled through that injury all year, and
then-
which helped me buy into the role that I had because now I was like, okay, everything hurts.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to drive the ball like I want to, so I just
Left or right quad?
my left one.
Yeah,
So it
so
was my back leg. I couldn't really move on
course.
it.
Yeah. So then summer turns into rehab.
Yeah, I just rehabbed the whole summer. Kind of put on some weight that year because I couldn't really do anything after that. Couldn't lift a ton, couldn't run a ton. I was just trying to feel good enough to be able to play in the games.
Yeah.
And so I took that summer, got into good shape, came back for my sophomore year of baseball. Pretty good shape. I was ready to go. And yeah,
Which you started taking your nutrition really serious over that summer because you went from kind of sloppy looking to pretty good heading into that second year.
yeah. And I mean, it was noticeable when I came back to it. A lot of guys tell me
Oh yeah.
that it was very noticeable.
You look different.
I mean, I carried myself different too. I could do things I couldn't do before.
Probably confidence levels a little
Yeah,
higher too.
I mean, I was feeling a lot better too.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah, and I'm a big look good, feel good, play good guy. So, but yeah, I mean, I went into last year, had a good year, which was my last year of junior college.
Well, also you had hitting with
Yeah.
Brett.
So a big part of this year, which I didn't have the year before, was I got to hit with Brett Cumberland. He was the Pac-12 Player of the Year. Drafted
account.
very high. And I mean, we have a similar swing. So when I got the chance to hit with him, I thought it was sweet because he understood me,
Yeah.
like as a hitter. Taught me a lot that I didn't know before. And I think the best piece of advice he ever gave me was just treat every count like a 2-0 count. Not necessarily mechanics wise, but like,
What
that was
you're looking
just
for.
what I'm looking for. And that was huge for me. I ended up having like 47 walks this year. So only like 19 Ks, which was
That's a
really
pretty good
good.
stat line right there.
Yeah, and I mean that alone is impressive, I think.
Yeah.
So, I was able to drive the ball a lot better too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have as many doubles as years before, but I had 7 home runs and not as many at bats. So,
Yep. Home runs went up, walks went up, strikeouts went down, actually.
Yeah.
Which was weird because you didn't strike out a lot the year before.
yeah. But I think that just played into me learning how to not strike out and be a good hitter.
Yeah.
So I was able to combine them a little bit more. So I think building on that, I'll be able to have an even better year next year.
So I wanted to go back. We mentioned the questionnaires and stuff like that. And I know it's not like that cool for you because you get them, but talk to us about that a little bit because what people may not know, your exit velocity is very high. You're big, strong, left-handed power swing. And that got you attention early from at perfect game tournaments and things like that. You started fielding questionnaires. And I'm thinking when you first started getting, I'm like, Josh is getting drafted or set, you know.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean, that would have been cool if COVID didn't happen. But, yeah, no, I remember I got my first questionnaire from the Dodgers. It was after the Jupiter tournament, the PG one.
uh-huh.
I think I took a really good arm deep, and I popped a crazy velo on it.
Is that against Blaze?
No, that was against a different team. But I was playing for BPA. We kind of combined PNT and BPA's best guys and went to this tournament. And we're playing the best high school teams in the country. So,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
It's the WWBA
Yeah.
championship, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
or is the PG World Series? I think
Something where every
something where every scout in the country was there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no room to sit for parents at these games. There was radar gun, clipboard. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool. I'd never been in an environment like that. Like I'd seen
Yeah,
it,
that was really cool.
but I mean, it was different playing against it.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, it was dope. But
Take a good arm deep, and all of a sudden,
yeah, I think I took a good arm deep. I had
More
like a
attention.
110 exit velo on it
it's decent.
as like a 17-year-old. So, got my first questionnaire like my senior year during like a Spanish class, and I think I texted you. I was like, oh,
yeah.
this is sick.
yeah.
Takes you
I was
like,
like,
takes
yeah.
you through this little video and stuff. It's really cool. Like, I didn't know what to think at the time. I thought it was cool. I mean, it is cool to get one of those.
Well, yeah, it's still cool now. It's just more like a tedious cool thing because
Yeah.
you end up getting them all the time. And I know they are very comprehensive and stuff like that. And I always tease you, like,
Yeah.
I would, give anything to have one of those. But, yeah, I kind of get it a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, I ended up getting a ton that summer. I think I got like 27 out of the 30 teams. Mm-hmm. And then kind of the same thing the next year, and I got some this year as well. But like no, they're not necessarily like baseball type questionnaires. Like they obviously know that you're a good player, that's why you're getting them. So it's gonna dive into like your mental game, like
wanna see how you
what kind of
think.
human you are. It's like a psychology test. Like it's asking all these questions that you got to think about and really give a good answer to. So
And tell us about the one question because I think it's
yeah,
hilarious.
this is hilarious. But I think one of the funniest questions I ever got during one of these questionnaires was, do you put the peanut butter in the fridge after you open it? And I was freaking out.
I remember
I texted Jimbo. I was like, are you supposed to put peanut butter in the fridge
I don't know.
after you open it?
I don't.
And I was like, I've never done that.
No.
And I don't even need a ton of peanut butter, so I don't know. But
That was an option, I'm assuming.
yeah. So I'm Googling it. I might have took like 30 minutes to answer this one question because
Yeah.
I was freaking out. I didn't want, I didn't want the reason I didn't get signed to be because I didn't put the peanut butter in the fridge or something. So I ended up just coming to the conclusion like, oh, it's just a question. Like they're just asking. So I said no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
don't.
that's the type of questionnaires these are. It's not like, oh, like what are your stats? It's like,
Yeah, they already know that.
what kind of human being are you?
Uh-huh. And how do you think?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on a little bit. So, pretty good year, second year at Delta. How's recruiting going?
I mean, it was weird for me with the transfer portal coming about and stuff like that. Recruiting's changed a ton. So, I mean, I thought I had a good enough year to go somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have a lot of traction.
We did. But with the portal, I mean, just like you'd mentioned, portal makes everything weird because now they don't need the JUCO guy, the high school guy. They can go get the lower end D1 guy and put him in that spot. So
Yeah.
makes it weird for everything. And everything's backlogged because all the COVID guys
They're
are
still in
there.
Yeah, they're still in college.
Yeah.
So you got like 6th year, 7th year seniors.
30-year-old men with wife and
Yeah,
kids that are still
grown
playing.
men still in college. But yeah, with the portal being open, we it was weird for a lot of JUCO guys. We weren't necessarily like the pick of the litter anymore. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like these big schools were going to come around and get the D1 type hitters out of the junior college system. They were going to take the guy that had a decent year at another D1 and try
Yeah.
and build him into something.
But pitchers got signed early.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we had a
good
lot of
arms
pitchers.
always get
We had
signed.
good arms will find a way on any roster. So we
who-
had some crazy arms.
So,
I'll talk
tell
a
us
little bit
about
about that.
Yeah.
I think one of the best arms I've ever played with, Fidel. He's an LSU commit,
Yeah.
and I mean, I remember when he popped 97 one day. I was like, "Holy
And it's
crap!"
an easy 97.
And it's not like a 97 where you're giving everything you got. Like it looked like he wasn't trying.
Yeah.
And it just came out. And I mean, he's throwing cutters and stuff, and his slider's coming out at like 87 miles an hour. So
Fun
you
to
can
have
imagine
fun
how those
against.
at bats are. And then, we had him. He's an LSU commit. I'll just name off some of the guys that we had committed. We had Cal commit, big
Yeah.
sidearm righty.
Yep.
2 USC commits. Let's see. We had San Jose State,
Yep.
Southern Indiana, UNLV.
Mm-hmm.
Where else? I'm leaving any out.
Liberty.
Yeah, Liberty.
Yeah.
And if I'm missing any, my bad. But no, our team was stacked.
They'll forgive you.
Yeah. So those are the type of guys we got to play with, which was sweet.
Well, and you had arms that were unsigned that were also really good.
Yeah, we got unsigned dudes like Perry, who was, in the Big 8 bash, dude was sitting like 92, 93, popped like a 94, struck out all 5 of his guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is dude.
Instead of junior college where you're rolling out
junior
arms out
college,
of
where
the
everyone likes to
pen.
make fun of junior college guys, but I would love to see dudes face these guys.
I mean, you're rolling out mid-90s arms out of the pen.
Yeah, it's not like these are our starters.
Yeah.
Like we have 90-mile-an-hour starters.
Yeah,
but these guys are coming off the pen.
Like your whole team.
Yeah.
Could touch 90 at least.
We had 2 lefties, 90 plus. So, like Oakley, he got hurt.
Yeah.
Towards ACL, but he was like 91.
Yep. 2 USC commits are both good.
Yeah, both of our USC commits
Will's
carve.
crazy.
Yeah,
Dylan-
Will is just I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, take us into a little bit of your recruiting. Like, what was going on? Because I know it was a mess, but
So it was pretty hectic for me. Got some calls in the fall and stuff like that. Didn't take it all that crazy. I was just planning on having a good year and letting that take care of itself. Like whatever happened, happened.
yeah.
I figured I'd end up where I was supposed to anyways. So just focus on having a good year. And then but you'll run into some recruiting stuff that will bug you for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like there was I remember a lot of times like coaches will call you. You'll have a good conversation with them for like 30 minutes, talk about stuff. Like I tell you how interested they are in you, like they want to get you out there and stuff like that. Tell you to send over some videos, you send them over and you never hear from them again. Mm-hmm. And then you look on Twitter a week later, they send another guy. So
Do you think they don't like the video or they just had someone else?
It's just like, they're not recruiting you, they're recruiting your spot.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a business piece for them. But then again, you'll run into good recruiters too. Like Coach Culver, for example, he was good. He was on me every day, phone calls, texts, whatever it was, and they made it known that they wanted me. They didn't just want that spot; they wanted me. So that's good to hear from a school.
100%.
Like that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to go somewhere where I was wanted, not just a lefty bat.
Yeah.
So it kind of made my decision a little easier.
Yeah. So overall recruiting process was fun throughout?
No, it's super stressful.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting played with the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, a pretty girl tells you she likes you and then tells you to text her and she never texts you back.
And you're like,
Makes
what the
you're
heck's
like,
going on?
you're like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably didn't do anything wrong. Just
Yeah.
you just weren't it.
Yeah. It just wasn't my time.
Shoot. Okay. Let's go into, I want to, you talked about how to make a decision a little bit. You want to go where you're wanted. You're not just your position is wanted, right? Any advice recruiting wise?
I would say just try and stay level-headed about it. Like, don't get too excited
Easier said than done.
Yeah, don't get excited over one phone call. Be excited. Be proud of yourself. They obviously noticed you, know who you are, but don't think it's the end of the world if those guys don't ever call you back.
Yeah, because realistically, they're probably not going to right off the
Yeah,
bat.
they're probably not going to call you back right away. Think about it. If they can get someone just like you,
Cheaper, too.
they're going to do that.
Yeah.
So, it's a game for them. It's a game for us. You got to think of yourself at the end of the day. What's best for you?
Advocate for yourself. Yep.
Yeah. Don't make a decision because you feel bad or you,
No.
You think like it might be good. You got to really be comfortable going where you're going.
It's your life. You're going to be there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And, you got to think of you.
Definitely. You got to do what's best for you.
Yep. How about eligibility-wise? Any advice there?
I would say, because as a third year, I ran into some problems
Explain that a little bit. Just a little quick.
So like certain D1s, you have to meet a certain progress towards degree. It's not necessarily just get your AA and your GPA. Mm-hmm. You have to meet like a progress towards degree thing. So
Did you find out about that early on?
find out about that kind of late, which was
Very late.
a little frustrating, but it is what it is now. It's not like I can go back and fix it.
But I'm just saying good for other kids
Yeah,
to kind
I
of
would say
think
be
about.
very hands-on about your
Yeah. Ask all the questions.
about everything. Ask your coach to make calls. Ask your counselors things. Ask everyone everything you need to know. If you're not unsure about something, don't be afraid to ask.
Don't be ashamed to make the calls and the emails and the text yourself,
Yeah, I mean, your coaches are going to push you out there, but you got to advocate for yourself. Like we said earlier, you got to hit guys with emails, call them, text them, DM them, whatever it is. I mean, if you want to play at that next level,
yeah.
don't be afraid to do whatever it takes.
They got to be able to see you.
I mean, not everyone's going to respond either, but
No.
you might send out 100 emails. You get 3 responses. That's more than you had the day before. So,
Yep. And that's good. Just life advice.
yeah.
It's a numbers game.
Yep.
Okay. Let's talk about training and nutrition a little bit. We know kind of your training story. What's your thought process in the weight room?
So for me, at first, it was just to get in shape. I wanted to get stronger. I wanted to get more lean. And when I did that, that's when I started becoming better baseball players. So a lot of kids are small nowadays. You got the skinny kids, but they need to put on weight. So I would say to them, take it very serious. Find someone that's just going to help you do that. Because at the end of the day, you're paying money to do these PG showcases and stuff like that. But you're small enough. I mean, I've heard scouts say it before too. We were at that Texas State workout with PNT. And I mean, we got dudes out there, but physically they're not ready. Mm-hmm. They might be one day, but they're not yet.
Yep.
So if you can give yourself any advantage, it would be to be ready when they see you. You got to pass the eye test right away.
Train, eat right.
Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, you're going to end up red shirt.
Yeah, I mean, that'll help you out
when you don't need it.
That'll help you out of your college too. Not every guy needs a red shirt year, but I mean, most of them that do are their tools are ready. They're just not physically ready to play yet.
And just competing for a spot on the team. There's only 9 guys that are on that field at one time, right? And if you're not at least putting yourself in a position to be the biggest, strongest, fastest, then you're kind of doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, I mean, the game's changing too. It's not like you can pound 3 hot dogs mid-game, like Babe Ruth style, drink a beer, whatever it is. You gotta take it very serious. I mean, have your fun and all that stuff, but you gotta take it serious at the end of the day if you want to get to that next level. Yeah. I mean, look at guys like Caglione. He's a specimen. Everyone talks about how big he is. And, I mean, it shows. He's got 31 bombs. He leads college. Throws 99 from the left side. The only thing, there's nothing bad that comes from being bigger, faster, stronger. It's going to benefit you.
So get in there early.
Yeah, the earlier you can do that, the better.
Yeah.
You look at, high school guys nowadays are becoming that. You got Max Clark and stuff like that, who's just a specimen. And I would say most high school guys should try and be something like that. Maybe, I mean, you're not going to have every genetic you need, but you can work to become a lot stronger, a lot faster, a lot bigger than you are.
Sure. Okay, let's go into do the speed round real quick.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, kind of to close it out, we're just gonna go over little questions. I want you to give your answers. All right. Best player in the MLB right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Best player.
Best player.
Probably maybe Ohtani or he's a freak of nature.
Yeah,
so
both positions.
He's the best at everything he does, which is pitch and hit. But yeah, probably I got to go with him.
Okay. Favorite player?
David Ortiz. No question.
Favorite current player?
Current player. We'll go with Soto. I got a couple. Soto, Schwarber.
Okay.
Those type guys.
Well, you just said it, but I already know it. Your MLB comp?
I want to look like Luke Voigt because, I get told that a lot. The big chest, the big arms. I want to be a specimen. I want people to notice me when I walk on the field. But I think comp-wise would be, I get told this one a decent amount too, scouts and stuff, is Schwarber.
Yeah.
The approach, the swing, stuff like that.
Favorite pregame meal?
I'm not a big pregame meal guy. I like a protein shake, an energy drink, that kind of stuff.
Postgame meal?
Postgame, if I had a good day, I'm going in. I'm eating whatever I want.
In-N-Out pizza?
In-N-Out, Canes. If I'm with the boys, I'll eat it. We'll go to B-dubs, have some fun, watch the games.
Of course.
Kill some wings.
Who wins College World Series?
Wake Forest.
Okay. Squat or bench press?
That's an easy one, bench press.
Of course.
You can look at me and know that.
Barbell, dumbbell?
Barbell.
Okay.
Way more fun.
Favorite energy drink? Which is I know the answer to this, and it's a weird one.
The Gatorade ones. I used to be a Rain guy or a Bang guy, but
Bang.
Yeah, bang. Nah, I like the Gatorade ones. They're
Okay.
not as heavy. They're only got like 200 milligrams of caffeine.
Electrolytes, all that good stuff.
Drink one during BP, and then I open one during the game to sip
You
before
get
it
2
bats.
before. That's a lot of energy.
400 milligrams caffeine.
Oh my god. All right. Hard 90 or admire your work?
Gotta admire your work. Baseball is too hard to take that serious. If I crush a ball, I mean, usually everyone knows. I know.
Oh, I know.
So I'm going to have some fun with it.
Favorite pitch to hit?
Fastballs. I mean, it could be down. As long as it's not up.
Okay.
Down on any part of the plate, I'm going after it.
Not righty curveball?
That's just every lefty's favorite. If it's hung, you got to love those righty get me overs.
Least favorite? Change up.
Change up.
Yeah. Odd routines?
I have a couple odd routines. I'm a very, very weird guy. I get made fun of a lot because I'm not very normal, but I'm just myself all the time, and I think that benefits my play style. Like, I get made fun of or whatever, but I'm just gonna be myself. I'm not worried about what people think.
Tell us the odd routine.
So my odd routine is, I got to shower every day before the game. Have to shower right before the game. I wear a sleeve on my left arm, not my throwing arm, which is weird. It depends. I might go headband some days if I'm feeling it.
Okay.
But the routine part of this is every day before game, we have BP. So I'll get my work in. I usually get out to the field early, get my stuff in, go through BP and all that stuff. Right when BP's done, I go to the bathroom, take my headphones and my phone, and I call Jimbo, my brother. So
And what do you say every
I
time?
ask him the same thing every time. I'm like, teach me how to hit, tell me how to hit, what do I got to do today? And, he usually gives me some pretty good advice.
Yeah.
If I'm hitting good, he'll tell me to keep doing the same thing I'm doing, and then he'll throw in a little flavor into that. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just kind of my routine. I like to talk to him before the game, relaxes me a little bit, and then I go to the bathroom, and right when I hang up the phone, I throw up immediately. I pull
Okay.
pull trig.
I make most people nervous. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I pull trig and throw up. I don't like to have anything like in my stomach before the game,
Yeah.
and then I go drink my energy drink.
That's a questionable one. The throwing up on purpose. Not even out of nerves. It's just
No, it's just like I just got to do it.
Yeah, you might need to see someone about that.
It makes me hit good. That's what it is.
All right. Well, any advice for kids or like a younger Josh? What would you say?
A younger me, I definitely tell them to take the nutrition and the strength stuff very serious. Because if you're good enough, people are gonna notice. But when you walk out on that field, you wanna look different than everyone else. You want people to be like, wow, like that dude, like he's not just good at baseball, but he's serious, takes it serious. And I don't think I did until I got to my senior year, junior year. So if I could have done that from a younger age, I think it would have benefited me. I would have been a lot better player than I was. And I wouldn't have had to focus on it as much as I did those years, which could have allowed me to do more baseball stuff or build on other stuff, not necessarily just focusing on being in shape.
Yeah.
So just build good habits, find something or someone you can train with or to train you. It's an investment in yourself at the end of the day. People pay for hitting lessons. I don't see why a lot more kids don't focus on getting bigger, faster, stronger. So, you're gonna spend a ton of money playing summer ball, but if you're not physically ready, those scouts are gonna write you off like that. So yeah, take that stuff very serious, and really take the mental game serious as well. If you can dive into the mental game at a young age, I think that'll give you a very big advantage over everyone else.
I agree. Anything else you want to talk about?
Not really.
Okay. What's
Just-
plan for next year?
I'm going to Fresno Pacific. It's in Fresno.
Oh.
I'm going to go over there, try and have a great year. They're investing in me, so I plan on giving them,
Pac West.
plan on giving them everything I
Not
got.
as good as a CCAA, but
Better.
it's like, played a lot of Pac West teams in my day, and you know how that went.
but you look at those schools now. It's not your day anymore. That was like 8 years ago,
It's always my day. What?
like 5 years ago, whatever.
All right.
But yeah, no, going to Fresno Pacific. I'm gonna go over there and be myself. They want me to go be myself, so I'm gonna go do that. We're gonna go win games, and we're gonna have fun doing it. So I'm excited about that.
Cool. Well, good luck there. Thanks for sitting here and doing this the whole time. I know you didn't have a choice because I forced you. It's the advantage of being bigger than your younger brother. So.
No, I'm still bigger. I will be bigger for the rest of our lives.
All right. Well, Josh, good luck.